everyone. Welcome to the Northland Artists Conversation. My name is Mark Kelly. I am your host, your guide, your Sherpa on everything Northland Artists Conversation related. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching or listening, please, do all that cool stuff that you do where you like, share, subscribe, send the love hearts or the ticks or thumbs ups and all that sort of good stuff. We'd love to have you, get these sorts of notifications more regularly. And, if you're looking to find us, the simplest way possible is just open up a web browser, whether it be like Google or Edge or Opera or anything like that. Just type Northland Artists Conversation and you'll find us, or anywhere that you listen to podcasts or watch podcasts. Man, just come along with us for the journey, for the ride. This is the exciting stuff. It's the end of year review for 2025. And when we do these reviews, it's always amazing to kind of look back and go, wow, we had some amazing people on. And it's been like that since we started. We've always been incredibly blessed to have some of the most amazing guests come on our podcast and sit down and talk with us. This year was really, really interesting. We had burlesque dancer. We had a seasoned, soulful, beautiful jazz musician play. We have had just some of the most incredibly disciplined and talented artists on this year. And one thing that we did that we'd never done before is we had a wrestler. But not only did we have one wrestler, we actually had 4 in total. Now, this is the first wrestler that we had on, and he was amazing. He was a real get for us, an international wrestler as well, someone that wrestles overseas at the top tier competitive level. Like one of the coolest guys to know. And if you're watching the podcast, I'm pretty sure he wears a hat. But he has decided to grow himself a skullet. I'd never heard that term before. Apparently it's when it's all bald, apart from a square patch at the back, and you grow that long. Very cool. So I would like to... Actually, I'm going to flick to this camera. I would like to have a look at some of the highlights of the amazing Aaron Hanade, the amazing New Zealand wrestler who wrestles for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I know everybody, when they talk about Japan, they talk about the food. They talk about, I went to Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. Yay, I love Japan. But I put it this way. I didn't leave the dojo for 3 months. I didn't step foot outside the front door.
Really?
I stayed inside for 3 months. Nobody else spoke English. It was just me and I think it was 11 other Japanese guys. 2 trainers and 1 caretaker.
Yeah,
pure 100% Japanese style, and it was amazing.
And that are we talking every day?
Every day, except for Sunday. But so Sunday you had off.
Yeah,
but it was best that they saw you working, because Japan's a very, very working culture.
Yes, it is.
They can tell when you're not working.
Yeah,
and if you're there relaxing, then they won't say anything, but they'll walk in and they'll see you at the corner of their eye. In their mind, they'll be like, this lazy gaijin, lazy foreigner.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it. It was all the food I could eat, which as a Māori kid, you're like,
yeah,
it was amazing. And then just, all the culture, they teach you how to count. They teach you the customs and everything. All this, like, thank you for your hard work every time. After every single workout, you do a prayer, like a group prayer.
Oh, wow, okay.
Shōma ni taraishite, mokso. It's like mokso, which is like the bowing and, acknowledging your peers and the trainer.
Yeah.
Similar to how ancient Māori, we used to do things that way.
Yeah.
Do the same sort of chant, Māori karakias and stuff like that. Exactly the same.
Wow.
So, yeah. That stuff was actually enriched my life a ton. I'm very close with Japanese culture. Probably more close than most of the wrestlers in Japan. Fale is he could speak. He's Japanese through and through. Fluent Japanese.
Yeah,
so he speaks Japanese, Tongan, and English.
Oh,
so he's got like a polyglot, But yeah, he's the one that sort of taught me that sort of stuff. He wasn't there, but he sent me to Japan.
Yeah.
And yeah. So yeah, that was the longest thing. And then being on tour was just, this is the pro wrestling side and the Japan side. So it's like double enrichment,
Yeah.
you know. And then you got the guys that they bring over from America, from Mexico, from the UK. So it's all of these different cultures all meeting in the thing I love the most, which was wrestling.
So there you go, everyone. Aaron Henare, international wrestler extraordinaire, and also owner of one of the greatest wrestling promotions in New Zealand, Aotearoa Wrestling. Top guy. And the fact that he lives in Tiki is amazing. He's just such a cool dude. So down to earth, so happy. Our next guest, I'm just going to jump forward a little bit. I'm going to jump all around on this one. Our next guest was an up-and-coming artist who had a huge, and I do mean huge, milestone in their lives. They had recently had one of their pieces of art projected onto the Sky Tower. That's right, and it's not even like here's the big Sky Tower, here's a small little picture. It was the whole Sky Tower, and it is absolutely amazing to have that sort of accomplishment. Is not something that that we've ever had from any guest. The size and the scope was amazing. So let's look at some of the highlights of our guest, Blue Jenkins.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was always interested in graphic design, but I was quite a cynical teenager, and I didn't think that I would be good at it. So I actually studied tourism. Yeah, I know, because I thought there'd be more money in tourism. This is before COVID. Yeah. Obviously,
yeah, well played.
We all know how that went.
Cup of cold sick, that one. Okay, do you mind if I ask how old you are then?
I'm 25.
25?
Yeah.
Okay. So for you, being a cynical teenager was sort of...
It was about 7 years ago.
Yeah, like we were almost pre the dark times.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
All right, okay. Now, did you have like a digital? That's on a PC, right, or a tablet?
Yeah.
Did you have like access to that at home, or was it something that you could only really do at school?
No, I had that at home. I had a Wacom tablet that I got from.
Oh, outstanding!
100% barrels or whatever at some point.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of art commissions online, drawing people's characters for money. Got me.
Oh wow!
I was able to take that money to the tuck shop and get some garlic bread. And
hell yes!
Yeah, it was great. It was a great source of income as a teenager.
Yeah.
Doing commissions for people online.
Yeah. And how long would that money last in terms of garlic breads?
Oh, it got me a couple garlic breads every week or every couple of weeks.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
How long would it take you to do a commission?
I would do them when I got home, maybe a couple hours.
Yeah.
Or a few hours, or over the span of like a few days.
A few days.
Yeah.
Okay. And were you charging much?
I don't remember what I was charging back then, but it probably was not.
2 garlic.
Enough.
Was it the garlic bread? Oh, the garlic bread you bought from the tuck shop.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So I was probably charging, I don't know, like $10-$20 range for commissions. Yeah.
It's always hard. Yeah. So art and commerce, the balance, right?
Yeah.
Charging your time for what you're worth, because you were probably selling yourself out at $1.25 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think minimum wage was a bit more than that at the time. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Huge up-and-coming artist with a massive amount of potential ahead of them, Blue Jenkins. I'd said to Blue, hey, look, we'd love to have you back on when you're ready, when you're comfortable, and they were gracious enough to say yes. Thank you, Blue. Really appreciate you. Sorry, that was a terrible rhyme. Anyway, our next producer Andrew's laughing his ass off behind the computer desk. Our next guest. Now, this one was one of the special ones. So, this guest was a fellow podcaster and a radio host, and he'd sort of taken a little bit of time away from that sort of stuff because sometimes you just have a little bit of burnout and you go, I'll take a little break, and came in, sat down with us for quite possibly what is the most unhinged podcast and rapid fire that we have ever had. I am, of course, talking about the great Cliff Richard Moshpit and Paul Dyer. So let's have a look. Let's relive that story. I just said it, a Snow White's just come out too.
know how we got there, but we did.
I'm gonna have to watch this back and go, I now know how we got there. Okay. I'm gonna. The host isn't meant to lose it like this. It's honestly not. Okay.
You have to battle your way through to get there.
Oh.
You know.
I mean, what's if you
Just
broken
because-
hips between friends?
Yeah, and just because you're young doesn't mean to say that you can get to the the stage. As soon as that rush happens, it's every person for themselves,
Oh, okay.
regardless of age.
Oh,
Because a lot of them can outrun.
okay. I have two questions. First off, what's the nearest hospital to the Royal Albert? And second,
Funnily enough, it's the one that the Queen went to.
second question, was there an increase in elderly admittance that night?
No! For me, probably.
Surgery spiked
But
on the first night.
It happens all the time at every show. Regardless. You know.
Oh, okay. So there you go. Paul Dyer, Cliff Richard, Mosh Pit. No, that's a set. Those are three words I'd never thought I'd ever join in a sentence. And two of the biggest idiots just laughing their ass off. It's a good time. It's a party. Our next guest, is the amazing Sarah Marshall. And the reason I had that big sigh is because this was really, really different. Sarah's had quite an interesting sort of journey, and we shared a lot of things, and we talked about her photography and how she made a real conscious effort to go, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm good at, I'm going to focus on this. Sarah also talked, not at length, but with some detail around the business aspects of being creative. And I thought that was very, very fascinating, because it's not often that an artist will sort of talk the business side of things. We talk about creativity and we talk about everyone's expression, but very, very seldomly do we actually talk about the finances and what people don't see in the background. So for me, a huge, huge podcast. Plus, I'm going to get to work with her November next year. She's doing the photos for a friend of mine's wedding, and I'm going to be the marriage celebrant and MC. So that'll be awesome. Anyway, it's not about me, it's about Sarah. Let's shut up, producer Andrew, again. Far out. Let's have a look at some of the highlights of Sarah Marshall. When you were in high school, and you said you were always wandering around with a camera.
Oh, not so much
Not
like
in high
that.
school.
I mean,
Right, okay.
had a point and shoot with me if I went out or something like
Yeah.
that. I didn't mean like I wasn't like the camera nerd taking the photos for the
You had like an Olympus. Yeah, okay.
for the end of year booklet like you see in those American films. It wasn't like that. No.
But you always had a camera on you, yeah? Like a little
I owned one,
a point and shoot.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you had?
Oh, it was like just a film point and shoot. So you just
Was
take.
it like a
this
Canon
is
or a
showing my
Nikon or
age now.
Olympus or a
I've always
Minolta?
stuck with I can't remember what my first film camera was for studying photography, but they were film point and shoots, and I'd drop the roll off at Shirley's Photo Centre and.
Oh
Oh man, those were the days. And then
They were.
it wasn't like just putting them all up on Facebook. You
No.
literally printed off your photos from your camping trip or your party or something
Yeah.
like that, and then you could rip them up if you didn't look good.
I cut the negative and be like, no one shall ever see that again. I did a few of those myself. So that was Sarah. She's such an amazing person and so hugely talented as well. So always lovely to have her back on. Hopefully we'll get to see her, whenever she's ready. She was cool. She was awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it. Now going from Sarah to Sarah. So we had Sarah King coming on the podcast. Now, I will preface all of this by saying Sarah is a burlesque performer. And last year we had another burlesque performer. And last year I was convinced to wear a pink feather boa and put on some nipple tassels. Yep, for those of you that know, and those of you that remember will hopefully be out of therapy by now. Good stuff. it's all fun and games. But Sarah's alter ego is Dahlia Deco. Now, it's always interesting because she has these two different sides to her. She's got the corporate side, and she's good at what she does, and she talks about it. But then she talks about her journey into burlesque, and I find the two differences so diametrically opposed absolutely fascinating. So let's roll a clip where we talk with Sarah about burlesque and Dahlia Deco. I think we should dispel a few of the myths about burlesque. So, number one, it's not a strip show.
No, you know what the difference is?
Go on.
The difference between burlesque and stripping?
Yes.
Is...
Clothes?
Well, partly, but burlesque performers spend $400 to $500 on their outfits and get paid $40, and strippers spend $40 and get paid $400.
Yeah. Okay. Because there's also as you were sort of talking about the performers, I was trying to remember the other one, Betty Page.
Yep.
I believe she was she was the notorious Betty Page, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. Did a Betty Page act. Betty Page themed act once. Yeah.
That's so cool. And burlesque is obviously it's not just about getting your tits out.
It's not just about that.
There's also the dance and the choreography and the story behind it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, I perform what's called neo-burlesque. Which is, so there's classic burlesque, which is the kind of, feather fans and the boas.
Right,
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I do neo-burlesque, which is more kind of burlesque meets theatre, meets comedy.
Yeah.
So I tend to do kind of, burlesque with a side of comedy.
Okay.
To a degree. I don't think I'm super funny, but that's the burlesque I prefer.
Fucking if people laugh, who cares?
Yeah. So I did this class.
Yeah.
And Cherry said on the first day, so the class was a 6-week class that culminated in doing a group performance at the next Northern Dolls burlesque show.
Right.
So
cool.
They did these big theatrical kind of big shows, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like a bit of fun. And on the first day, Cherry said you'll probably get what the end of the act is. You'll get your tits out and do your tassel twirling, and say, you obviously don't have to. And I think everyone in the class was like, oh no, I won't. That won't be me. I won't be doing that.
Yeah.
And I definitely was. I was like, oh no, absolutely not. It's not going to happen. But no, it absolutely happened. You get to the end of the 6 weeks and you're just like,
yeah. Get those tassels on, baby. I'm going to swing them in circles, like I tried to do, and failed miserably. To be fair,
I think it was the wrong tape, actually.
I think so. I think it was two things. I think it was the wrong tape, and I have hairy nipples, so the tape wasn't adhering properly. To be fair, had I known that was going to happen, I would have shaved in advance because I'm considerate like that. I'm always there for my guests. So there we go. Sarah King talking about Dahlia Deco. I got that right. Awesome. Good for me. Just so cool, so talented, and she is still performing at the moment as well, which is awesome. So very cool. Our last guest. Now, this was a bit of a tough one because there have been so many other ones that I could have gone through. I could have had Steve Haywood, Master Jeweler, because his podcast was legendary. I could have had Jay Barrick, another wrestler who I happened to chat with the day before and said, hey, bro, you're coming to Whangarei. Do you want to come in and sit down on the podcast? And what ensued was some complete and utter hilarity. Also talking about a Fijian coup. It's not every day you get to talk about those sorts of things. I could have talked about Stephen Davis and how amazing he was. However, there was one podcast that I was like, I got to end this one because this is a strong end, and that's Neil Lambise. Now, Neil is a creator. I believe he does comics, but he is best known as a Whovian. Now, if you haven't seen Neil's podcast, a Whovian is a Doctor Who fan. Now, he found a lost episode. Now, that may not sound like a big deal, but I think there's something like 100 lost episodes that have never been made available on like DVDs or Blu-ray or box sets or anything along those lines. And he found one. That is unbelievably amazing. And he shares that story behind it. So we're just gonna play a few bits from that part of the podcast. Neil, you're an absolute legend, sir. Thank you for coming in and sitting down with us. I read an absolutely amazing article about how you found a lost episode, but it wasn't just one of those filler episodes. It was actually an important episode as well. Can you sort of talk about how that came about? And because that's not just I was at a flea market and picked this up type vibe. This was very Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Where do I start?
I
mean, when I was at Polytech on the Performing Arts course, I got a job I trained as a projectionist at the Odeon Theatre. We were digging around in the Odeon Theatre one day, and we came across some old film prints that were hidden in the dirt and dust under the seating. And one of them, I don't know if you heard of The Goon Show, which was Peter Sellers, Harry Seacombe, Spike Milligan. In the 1950s, they did a couple of shorts, which used to play before movies. You get a short. Often they'll be, pig farming in Wales or some boring travelogue. But there were a couple of Goon Show shorts. One was called The Case of the Makanese Battle Horn.
Right,
and there was a print of this sitting under the Odeon Theatre in Whangarei, and we sort of dug it out in about 1989. We found it.
Okay.
And there was a complete 35mm print of a B-grade movie called The Crater Lake Monster. I thought, I don't think this exists. I've read about these Goon Show shorts. So we ran it.
Yeah.
Watched it, and it was really good. And there's a massive splice right in the middle of it that went ka-chunk. So I said to Nick, by rights, we have to give it back to Kerridge Odeon.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know the guys at Kerridge Odeon. I think this is missing. It doesn't exist because I've got books that say this is before internet.
Yeah.
This is before you had to write a letter and it would take days to get to the distributors.
Snail mail. Yeah.
So thankfully, a guy Nick knew in Kerridge Odeon listened to him and contacted the rights holders. And they went, "Oh my God, you found it!" And it got released on video. So.
That's the first one you found?
Yeah, first one. So we recovered this lost Goon Show short, returned it, and when you watch it I haven't seen the DVD, but I've probably edited the splice out, but when the video came out VHS, I got a copy and it's like, oh yeah, it is the one we found. There's a big splice in the middle going,
oh my God.
And there's a few seconds still missing, I think. So I knew that there was stuff out there. And then one day I was in Auckland, I was in a comic shop, I ran into Cornelius Stone. He was telling me about a guy called Bruce Grenville, who had just managed to find through film collector circles some 60mm film prints of the animated version of Planet of the Apes TV show, which is an animated show that everyone had forgotten about.
Yeah, that.
And I was like, wow, where did you get those? Oh, this film collector fair. And I said, oh, he hasn't got any Doctor Who, has he? And Colin thought about it and I went, actually he has. He's got the one that we saw at a video day. And I went, which one? He said, the one about Richard the Lionheart. And I said, are you sure it's the episode? Because only one episode exists. And Corn was pretty certain it was the one he'd seen.
Yeah.
And I said, well, can I get in touch with Bruce? And it's like, okay, that'll be fine. So I got in touch with Bruce and managed to ring him. And he said, oh, yeah, no, it's the first episode of a Doctor Who story called The Lion. So I said, well, actually, tell you what, that doesn't exist. If it says The Lion on the front, that is a missing episode. And he went, what, really? I said, yep. So can we come around and have a look at it? And then we'll get in touch with the BBC.
Yeah.
And so I rang my friend Paul Scoons, who's run the Doctor Who fan club for a long time. Paul's a good old friend. And we were both a little weary. It's like, is Bruce having us on? I was pretty sure he wasn't. So we went round there and, Paul grabbed his video camera just to prove to the BBC that we'd found something, because they get hoaxed like every week. Someone says, I've got a Doctor Who episode, please give me £50 or something. And we went around and Bruce switched the projector on and there's a missing episode of Doctor Who. Could not believe it. They'd been lost for like 26, 27 years by that point. So we then negotiated for Bruce to return it to the BBC, which they did.
Well, there we go, folks. I don't even know which camera I'm looking at. Now I'm just going to look at both cameras to mess Andrew's edit up. It's been a hell of a year, 2025. We have loved everything about it so much, and we get so much feedback come through, mainly through Facebook and Instagram, which is actually quite cool. People sort of send direct messages. I won't say DMs because that has its own connotations, apparently. But it's cool. We hear, we listen, and we've heard you guys loud and clear. So next year, we're going to have a look at a slightly different format and see what your thoughts are. We've been working incredibly hard in the background, behind the scenes, making sure that we get the most amazing guests that we possibly can, and we continue to have them booked in. And honestly, so incredibly grateful. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do is we're kind of going to split things up a little bit. We're going to do a couple of here's who's going to be coming up, and then we're going to do the rapid fire, and then maybe a few shorter segments, and then we're going to do the full podcast, and that'll be in the space of 4 weeks, essentially like a calendar month. But we're going to try and drop things that are relatively, to sort of get everyone hyped for the podcast. And we've done that because we've listened. We've listened to everyone. If it's not, people sending us messages, it's people that have, come up to me at, like a supermarket, or if I've been downtown, or the KFC drive-through, because that happened. And the dude was very cool. It was awesome. So we're going to do things. We're going to do things our way. It's the way we've always done. We've always listened to the people. That's how, we started that way. We're going to end strong, and we're going to keep going. So thank you very, very much. So after having listened to the year in review, if you haven't checked us out already and you would like to have a look, just Google Northland Artists Conversation. You'll find us. We're around. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Northland Artists Conversation. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, Northland Artists Conversation. We're there. We're there to be found. And if you'd like to be on the podcast, man, we would love to hear from you. Just send us an email. The email address is hello@northlandartistsconversation.co.nz. It's all one word. Nice and simple. I'm going to flick to my... Oh, excuse me. That came out of nowhere. I'm going to flick to my wide camera. Yeah, that was a burp. We keep it real around here. 2025, from a work or a regional perspective, things have been tough. Things have been challenging. We're coming out of 2025 and we're going into 26. Things are starting to look better for the region. There's a lot more creativity flowing. People are doing more interesting things. I happened to be driving up to Kerikeri today and I saw a new awesome sculpture on the drive up. It looked amazing, and I was like, yeah, there we go. Northland going well. Northland representing. So well done to anyone that's creative out there. You are seen, you are heard, and you're awesome, and that's important. So on behalf of myself, host Mark, I'm referring to myself in the third person. What the hell? Producer Andrew, editor Lee, engineer Steve, admin Michelle, and everyone else that's ever chipped in. You guys are all amazing, and we can't do any of this without you, so thank you very much. My name is Mark Kelly. Thank you for watching the end of year review for 2025, or listening. You can do both. We'll see you guys in the new year. Woohoo!